In this video, I am going to explain about virtual memory concept in operating system. We know that virtual means not real, and in memory management, memory is nothing but primary memory. Now, I'll explain what is virtual memory with the help of an example. Let us assume that this is the secondary memory and this is the primary memory, and we are following the paging technique for memory allocation. Then entire secondary memory will be divided into equal sized portions. Here each portion is called as a page, and entire primary memory is divided into equal sized portions. Here each portion is called as a frame. Let us assume that the size of each page is 5 bytes. Then obviously the size of frame will also be 5 bytes. Now let us assume that I have a process queue and it requires 20 bytes of memory. It occupies 20 bytes of memory. Now I cannot store this entire process queue into one page because here the size of each page is 5 bytes, so I cannot store entire process queue into this page. So now what I'll do is I'll divide the process queue into different parts. Here Q1 is the first part of process queue, Q2 is the second part, Q3 is the third part, and Q4 is the fourth part. Let us assume that the size of each part is 5 bytes. Now I can store process Q in the secondary memory like this. Q1 is stored here, Q2 is stored here, Q3 is stored here, and Q4 is stored here. Now let us assume that CPU wants to execute process Q. In order to execute the process Q, first it needs to access the data from the secondary memory, right? But CPU cannot access the data from the secondary memory directly. So if CPU wants to execute any process, then that process data, that means Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4 data should be brought from secondary memory to the primary memory. Okay, so moving the process from secondary memory to the primary memory is the responsibility of the operating system. Okay, now process Q data will be brought from secondary memory to the primary memory. Let us assume that Q1 is stored here, Q2 is stored here, Q3 is stored here, and Q4 is stored here. Now CPU can access the data from the primary memory and can execute the process Q. So here we don't have any problem because in order to execute any process, that process should be brought from secondary memory to the primary memory. Now entire process data is brought from secondary memory to the primary memory. So now CPU can access the data and CPU can execute the data. So here we don't have any problem. Now we will take another scenario where here if you observe, I am taking the same example, but here the size of the primary memory is very less compared to the process size. Here what is the size of the process? Size of the process is 20 bytes. So I have stored that process queue in the secondary memory like this. Now in order to execute this process data should be brought from secondary memory to the primary memory. But if you observe, in the primary memory we have only 3 frames. So we cannot store 4 pages data. We cannot store 1, 2, 3, 4. We cannot store these 4 pages data into the primary memory. That means we cannot load all the pages of process queue into the primary memory. In this situation, what happens is, first some of the pages are loaded from secondary memory to the primary memory. Here Q1, Q2, Q3 pages are loaded from secondary memory to the primary memory. Now CPU can access the data of Q1, Q2, Q3 and can execute these data. So after some time, let us assume that Q1 has finished its execution. Q1 has finished its execution. Now memory allocated for Q1 will be deallocated. Now Q1 is out of the primary memory. So memory allocated for Q1 will be deallocated. Now, so we have another page, right? Q4, which is not loaded into the primary memory, right? So now we will load Q4 into the primary memory. So now CPU can execute Q4 page also. CPU can execute this part of the process also. In that way, the process will be executed successfully. Here if you observe, even though we don't have the sufficient amount of primary memory, we are able to execute our process, right? So this technique is called the virtual memory technique. Virtual memory technique says that without loading the total process into the primary memory, we can execute that process successfully. Okay, so the advantage with virtual memory is, even though we don't have the sufficient amount of primary memory, we can execute our process successfully. So virtual memory concept gives an illusion that we have sufficient amount of primary memory. Actually, we don't have the sufficient amount of primary memory, but this technique, this virtual memory technique, it gives an illusion that we have the sufficient amount of primary memory, so that users can develop the large programs without bothering about the size of the primary memory. This is the one advantage with virtual memory. So what is the advantage? If the primary memory size is less compared to the process size, then also we can execute that process successfully. So this technique is called virtual memory technique. Here virtual memory, it gives an illusion that we have sufficient amount of primary memory, but actually we don't have the sufficient amount of primary memory. So this is one of the advantage with the virtual memory concept. So we have another advantage with the virtual memory concept. So that is, it will increase the degree of multi-programming. I'll explain this point with the help of an example. Let us assume that I have a process Q and process P. So process P and Q are stored in the secondary memory. So this is P1, P2 data is stored here. Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4 data is stored here. Now, if you observe, process P and Q requires 6 pages. That means in the primary memory, if you want to load those processes into the primary memory, then we need 6 frames. But here if you observe, we have only 3 frames, right? So, if suppose CPU wants to execute process P, then we have to load process P data into the primary memory. So, I have loaded P1 and P2. Now CPU can execute the process, right? So that means here at this particular time CPU is executing only one process. So we can say that degree of multi-programming is 1. Here the degree of multi-programming is 1, because CPU at this particular time executing only one process. Okay, so because here in primary memory we have only 3 frames, so we cannot load the process Q into the primary memory, right? That means we cannot increase the degree of multi-programming. That means we cannot load Q2 data here, right? That is a problem here. So now by using the virtual memory concept, what we do is, so without loading the P1, P2 pages into the primary memory, so what we do here is, we load only one page of process P1 and we load only 2 pages of process Q. Now CPU can access the data of process P and process Q, and it can execute these processes simultaneously. That means here the degree of multi-programming is 2. That means by using the virtual memory concept, without loading the entire processes into the primary memory, we are loading only some portions of the processes into the primary memory and we are executing the processes successfully. So in this way, virtual memory increases the degree of multi-programming. If you don't have the virtual memory concept, then we can load only process P or we can load only process Q, but we cannot load both the processes because we don't have the sufficient amount of memory space. But if you use the virtual memory concept, then without loading the entire portions of the process P and process Q, we can execute those processes successfully. That means we can increase the degree of multiprogramming by using the virtual memory concept.